welcome to one more video. I hope you all are having a great time. So after the great response from my previous tools, Kinetic Scalper, Confluence Engine, Pressure Reversal Engine, and others, and after listening carefully to the feedback from my dear traders and friends, I decided to finally come up with a complete solution. Not just a standalone indicator, but a proper setup. So after 2 months of work, I present to you Nexus, the Smart Money Suite. This is a complete tool built on smart money concepts, and in this video, I will walk you through its most important features so you know exactly what it does and how to use it. Alright, let us jump right in. If you have ever felt like you are just one step behind the market, always reacting instead of anticipating, then you are going to want to see this. But before we get into the tool itself, let us start with the real question. Why is it that so many retail traders, even with all the courses, the books, and the hard work, still struggle to find a consistent edge? This is the central problem that Nexus was built to solve. And it really comes down to 3 persistent challenges. First, finding where the smart money, the big institutions, are actually placing their orders. Second, knowing when the market trend is genuinely shifting and not just faking you out. And third, and this one is big, getting your timing right for good risk to reward. Because simply guessing the direction correctly is nowhere near enough. So here is how we are going to break this down. We will start with how Nexus reads market structure, then we will look at how it hunts for smart money zones, then we will see how it brings everything together, and finally how it turns all that complex analysis into one clear, simple decision. The foundation of everything in Nexus is market structure. The indicator tracks 3 types of structure events. The first is boss break of structure. This is a continuation signal. When price closes above a prior swing high in an uptrend, it confirms that buyers absorbed all the selling pressure at that level and pushed higher. On your chart, you will see a solid horizontal line and a BOS label. The second is CHoCH change of character. This is a potential reversal signal. When price breaks a swing point against the current trend, for example, breaking below a swing low during an uptrend, it suggests the opposing side may be taking control. These appear as dashed lines with a CHoCH label. The third is SMS shift in market structure. This is an early warning. It uses a shorter internal pivot length to detect microstructure shifts before a full CHoCH even confirms. Think of it as seeing the first small cracks before the wall comes down. These dotted lines often give you extra preparation time. Every confirmed swing point is also classified higher high, higher low, lower high, or lower low. This tells you immediately whether the trend is clean and consistent or mixed and indecisive. And if you leave the trading mode set to auto, Nexus automatically adjusts its sensitivity based on your chart time frame. Shorter pivots on lower time frames for precision and longer pivots on higher time frames for significance. Once structure is established, the next question is, where are the institutional zones? Nexus identifies 2 primary types. The first is order blocks. An order block is the last opposing candle before a strong directional displacement, the specific area where institutions likely loaded up their positions right before they decided to move the market. Now here is what makes Nexus different. It does not mark these zones randomly. It validates each one by measuring the displacement strength relative to the average true range. Only when that displacement crosses a configurable threshold does the system look backward for the origin candle. Each validated order block is then scored from 1 to 5 based on displacement strength, candle body quality, volume confirmation when available, and whether the zone sits in a cheap or expensive area of the market. A score of 5 means strong institutional fingerprints all over that zone, and that score feeds directly into the signal engine. When price fully trades through an order block and mitigates it, the system does not just retire that zone, it converts it into what is called a breaker block. The logic is simple. The zone that was support for institutional buyers now becomes resistance, as those trapped buyers look to exit at break-even. Second zone type is fair value gaps, or FVGs. These are 3 candle price imbalances, where the first and third candle wicks do not overlap, leaving a region where price was never properly auctioned. These gaps act like magnets, pulling price back to fill them in the future. Nexus tracks the full life cycle of each FVG. When price reaches the 50% midpoint of the gap called the consequent encroachment level, the label updates automatically. Institutional algorithms often target this midpoint specifically, so it is a level worth watching closely. When price fully fills the gap, it does not just disappear, it inverts. A bullish gap that has been completely filled now flips and acts as a resistance zone instead. These inverted FVGs are drawn with dotted borders and labeled clearly, so you always know exactly what you are looking at. And when an order block and a fair value gap overlap in the same direction, that confluence gets special treatment in the scoring engine. It represents the highest quality zone alignment the system can detect. Now let us talk about how all of this becomes an actionable signal. The signal scoring engine evaluates every potential setup across 10 separate dimensions and assigns it a score from 0 to 100. Those dimensions include the structure type, zone confluence, whether a liquidity sweep occurred, displacement quality, premium or discount positioning, multi-time frame alignment, session timing, VWAP relationship, volume, and candle quality. Based on that composite score, each signal receives a grade. A plus is 52, and above the highest conviction setups, where multiple independent factors have all aligned at the same time. A is 40 to 51 strong setups with solid confluence across most dimensions. B is 28 to 39 moderate setups, and C is below 28. By default, the quality filter is set to A plus, and A giving you the best balance of quality and frequency. If you want fewer signals with maximum selectivity, set it to A plus only. For broader coverage, use B and above. When a signal fires, Nexus does not just show you an arrow and leave you to figure out the rest. It automatically calculates and displays a complete risk framework for every single trade. You have 3 take profit levels and a stop loss. For the stop loss, you can choose between ATR based, which adapts to current market volatility, percentage based, which is a fixed distance from entry, or swing based, which places the stop beyond the most recent validated swing point. All 3 modes include built-in guardrails, ensuring the stop is always on the correct side with the minimum required distance. The take profit progression works like this. TP1 is your first target. The moment price hits it, the stop loss automatically moves to break even. Your risk is completely eliminated from that point forward. TP2 is your second target. When hit, the trailing stop activates and follows swing points in your favor. TP3 is the full target, closing the position entirely. If you prefer to manage exits manually, there is a toggle to disable the trailing stop, and the system will simply hold at break even after TP1. And if an opposing change of character fires while you are in a trade, an exit signal label appears on the chart, warning you that the structural premise for your trade may no longer be valid. The dashboard gives you a complete market snapshot without needing to interpret individual chart elements. It shows the current structural trend: bullish, bearish, or neutral. For sessions, the indicator automatically draws Asia, London, and New York session boxes on your chart. The London kill zone covers 7 to 10 UTC, and the New York kill zone covers 12:30 to 15 UTC. These are the windows when institutional order flow is at its strongest, and the scoring engine awards additional points for signals that fire within them. Now, 2 features in Nexus deserve special attention. The first is the Nexus Pulse. This is not your standard RSI or MACD. It is a composite momentum oscillator that combines 4 completely different dimensions of the market into one single adaptive reading. The displacement index measures the raw power of a price move. The absorption detector identifies when large orders are being quietly absorbed without proportional price movement, a signature of institutional activity. Structure velocity measures whether the trend is healthy or starting to get tired. And the liquidity gradient measures the imbalance of resting orders above versus below current price. These 4 combine into a single reading: strong bull, bullish, neutral, bearish, or strong bear. And when volume data is unavailable, the system automatically rebalances the weights toward price action only components, without any input from you. The second feature is Temporal Confluence Memory, or TCM. This solves a fundamental problem in traditional smart money analysis. The textbook sequence sweep, zone contact, displacement, structure break almost never happens on a single candle. In real trading, these events unfold across multiple bars, with time gaps in between. TCM maintains a rolling memory of each confluence step independently. A sweep from 8 bars ago still contributes to scoring. A zone contact from 12 bars ago still carries weight. Each memory decays gradually rather than disappearing the moment price moves on. The setup sequence section in the dashboard shows this in real-time tracking, where the sweep, zone, and displacement steps are active, how recently they occurred, and showing a ready state when all three are in memory simultaneously and awaiting a structure break. Setting up Nexus is straightforward. Head to TradingView, open the Indicators panel, and search for Nexus Smart Money Suite by BullByte. Add it to your chart. The default settings are already optimized for general use across most markets, and timeframes you do not need to change a single thing to get started. So that covers the full Nexus Smart Money Suite. To bring it all together, Nexus tracks market structure through break of structure, change of character, and shift in market structure events. Its indicator is in the description below. If this walkthrough was useful, give it a like. It genuinely helps this channel grow. Subscribe if you want more in-depth breakdowns of professional trading tools. And drop a comment below if you have any questions about a specific feature. I read every single one. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.